Rules that change the rules. What was once done in yesterday no longer be accepted today. What am I talking about? Just save up all your money that you get from work for about 40 to 50 years. Put it in an account, and when you're 8 years old, you can use it up. That's the standard advice that most Americans give. It's probably what your parents gave to you as to how to get rich. When you ask them how to get rich, well, just take all your money and put it in an account. Retirement has been the end-all be-all goal for so many people, not just Americans, but people all over the world. That has been the goal. Now, it did start because of the American dream, that you should save up your money and basically live like a squirrel and put all your money away until you're very old and you're basically frail. Spend money on healthcare anyway, so I mean, what is doing you there? Retirement is not ideal. We are no longer doing that anymore. I think a lot of us have just taken it and accepted it. It's because it's what our parents did, and we saw our grandparents tell us that. Yeah, they lead by example. But that is the new meta of the new rich, of which you should of course join, because the other way is going to leave you what? You'll go to Dubai when you're 75 at the youngest. What do you do then? I guess you could go surfing in the Caribbean when you're 80, but that's obviously not ideal. Now, the new rich, you see, do not live the way that the old deferrers of yesterday did. What am I talking about? The new rich, instead of saving up all your money for the end of your life, when you're basically about to die, why not distribute it into smaller mini retirements throughout your entire life? It just makes more sense, you know, because, and you might be wondering, am I going to have less money to spend? Not exactly. I'm going to explain later. But having more mini retirements is much better. Would you rather not eat all day so you can have one giant meal at night for dinner? No, of course you wouldn't do that. We eat breakfast, then lunch, then dinner, reasonably sized meals placed throughout the day. Or else you feel much better. You don't just save all of your food unless you're on intermittent fasting, which that's one thing. But that's not what we do. Now, when it comes to the new rules, this is the model. Less is not lazy. Alright, we have been trained to sort of work like a mule or a camel and just do as much as work as possible, because more work gets more results, right? No, more results get more results. And there's a difference here. The new rich, to them, work is about how much value you bring, how much results you can get. And you'll realize that the thing about results is that results do not correlate to the amount of work you put into something. You've done a bang-up job on your socket and gotten a pretty passable grade, right? You've also poured a lot of effort into a relationship. Didn't go so well. That's because effort does not always equal results. It can, in some ways. If you're, let's say, digging a ditch or carving a stone, yeah, the more times you swing a shovel and hit a rock, you're going to get more effort. But that's not always the case. It's like mule work, okay? So the idea that if you just grind and grind and grind, you'll get more results is simply, it's a passing notion that we as the new rich are going to leave behind in the old world. What you do matters far more than how well you do it. That is essentially the mindset that the new rich have taken up. And it's one that you should take up if you want to make more money. Now, the thing is, more money is not always the answer. What we want, new rich, what we seek, is more time, more freedom. Freedom for what? Financial freedom, social freedom, and time freedom. But the thing is, a lot of people, they do get scared and they do end up going to work. So what we're doing is rewriting the rules. And I've spoken about that in the previous video. The thing is, the way the game was played yesterday is not how it's played today. And a lot of people are slow to catch up to that. But the thing is, you, as a young person, can learn now to sort of get ahead of the game. Information is becoming much more accessible. Which means that, whereas before, the only people that knew this are the sort of rich people you see now, you know, the guys on yachts. They knew this stuff back when they were young. But now it's becoming more common. And in the future, you're going to see a lot more young millionaires. In fact, you see it now. But you'll see a lot more millionaires, let's say in their 40s. When we're all of us are in our 40s, we look around, talking to each other. Oh, how did you become a millionaire? Oh, yeah, I became one when I was 22. It's going to become more common as you get older. But essentially, this is the new rules. What you do is far more important than how well you do it. And if you don't believe me, let's take losing weight, for example. If you heard any specialist about how to lose weight, the way that they do it is, how do you lose weight? Calories in versus calories out. You burn more calories than you consume in a day, right? Which means that you can technically eat junk food and still lose weight. You're not going to feel well, but you still could lose weight. And it essentially comes from the 80-20 rule, where now the 80-20 rule comes from, there was a philosopher, I forget his name, I'll look it up. I forget his name. He noticed that in his garden, he had a garden of peas, and he noticed that 80% of the vegetables he got came from only 20% of the plants. So he has this whole wide garden, a small amount. So the amount of peas he gets comes from this small 20% of his entire garden. So a lot of his results come from a small thing that he's doing, you know. And it sort of proves this notion where if you pour most of your effort into this small thing, the thing that truly matters, you can get monumental results. Alright, this is your actionable step for today. This is your productivity tactic in order to get more done and more quality work done. Remember, it's not just about quantity, it is more about quality. It applies to so many other things. The 80-20 principle rule exists in so much. Going forward, these are the new rules that we have as the new rich. That it's more about what you do, not how you do it.